And that's what I have found, that the people, it's more about their culture than it is their religion. And I don't want to jump into a religion and start messing around with it. And do you get what I mean? If I'm doing it, I want to do it properly. And that's what I found over the last 10 years of being a Muslim. I've been on my journey of understanding, and now I'm ready to take my journey of committing and submitting.
كن سعيدا كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة.
All the things that is forbidden you, if you basically stay away from that, then that is a worship of Allah as well. So basically, to lead your life as a good Muslim, as someone as a good mu'min, someone who believes in one God, His messenger, His angels, His books, yes, respects the neighbors, respects the society, doesn't do anything that harms other people, yes. This is what, giving the right to the parents, right to the children, the right to your body, for example. These things, all this constitute to, so you submitting to God is what this all is about, yes. Like I said, submission doesn't just mean you fall on your forehead on the ground and prostrate to God all day. No, that is not something that Allah or the Rasul expects of us. Yes, we have to lead a holistic life in which we do not disobey Allah and His Messenger.
I think that's where I am at the minute. I believe in Islam, but I'm not ready to submit.
I think what you really need is you need some company which will help you, a woman, a good Muslim woman who will perhaps help you with your, get over these hurdles that you have in your life right now. I know there are other things like society, like the parents maybe, like the family and the culture and all that. That is there too. But what you really need to do is all that you can push aside. Like my brother here said, your life in this world is obedience to Allah and obedience to the Messenger, and this is what should be the priority. Everything else comes secondary. But obviously that doesn't mean you neglect it, you ignore it completely, because we are here to lead a holistic life. And if these things are causing a problem, they will play on your psychology, and you have to obviously get over it. But sometimes getting over it can also mean maybe locating to a different place, yes, where you feel comfortable. So maybe look at it from that perspective. I'm not telling you to move tomorrow, but if this is something which will make your life worth living, in the sense that it will not play on your mind all the time and cause some sort of distress, some sort of discomfort, yes, then the best thing is to move to a place where it's it'll be easier. Yeah, where you have like-minded people, where you have.
You haven't got anyone leading the same life as you.
Do you have any Muslim friends who are women?
I wouldn't say they're the best role models of how to live an Islamic life. And that's what I have found, that the people, it's more about their culture than it is their religion. And I don't want to jump into a religion and start messing around with it. And do you get what I mean? If I'm doing it, I want to do it properly. And that's what I found over the last 10 years of being a Muslim. I've been on my journey of understanding, and now I'm ready to take my journey of committing and submitting.
So maybe you can take a shahada now?
Technically, I am a Muslim. Right?
You're a Muslim already?
Yeah, I took my shahada at a young age, so I didn't have the understanding then. Do you get what I mean? So now I'm an adult. I'm doing it for the right reasons, and I'm trying to gain that understanding and submit in the right way.
You should do it gradually. But one thing I would recommend in your case is you find someone who is a mentor, someone that you respect, someone you think will benefit you in terms of giving you knowledge about the Deen, about the Quran, about Sunnah. And once you have harbored this friendship, then perhaps it'll benefit you in the sense of how you look at the world. Because right now I feel, or I sense, that you are isolated. And because of this isolation, you're unable to get out of this circle, which is kind of hindering your progress as a good Muslim. So maybe that is the first thing you might want to do. So find either a mentor and befriend that person, yes, and maybe they can impart some knowledge to you in the sense. And read some books on it. There are lots of books by good scholars, yes, very good books. And take it step at a time rather than taking it all at one go. And do not procrastinate either. So you need to keep the balance. It doesn't mean that, oh, I'm leading a good life, so everything is good and everything is perfect. No, that is not perfect. Perfection should be achieved by hard work. It's not something that comes automatically. It's something in any field. Whether you go to the Olympics, you don't just reach like that, yeah? You need to work hard for it. Yes? Whether you be in your career as well, if you want to become someone of a high grade employee, then you also work hard for it. Same thing in Islam. Yes? And that's why I said you will be judged based on your righteousness. And this righteousness is work, is actual action, not just cramming books of knowledge. Because many people do this. Yes? Because this is something that is very important. You have faith, you have knowledge, but then that should be, it should be along with the work that you put in. So it's not just praying and just reading the Quran only, but to act upon it as well.
Just one, you said you weren't ready to submit.
Yeah.
What made you say that?
I think holistically, yeah.
Everything, like the culture, my understanding of why we do things. Because I'm not the type of person that I'll just do it because I've been told to. I need to really understand it and do it for my own inner want. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to just do it because everyone does. I've never been that sort of
The reason I asked you the question is actually, in reality, you're already submitting to something. You're getting up and going to work. You're submitting to the times that your boss has laid out. You're going to work and you're sitting there.
I'm submitting to the man.
Absolutely, and you're when the bill arrives on your home, you're opening it up, pay by this time. So you're already in submission.
Yeah.
And that's the nature. We get hungry, we go and eat our food, so we're in submission to our hunger.
No, I think she was saying that I want to find a reason why I need to do certain things. Is that what he meant? Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
So
it's not just submitting.
No,
There's a reason behind it.
Sure. I think what the situation is that you've got to, again, take the bigger picture. We need to, who are we submitting to? We need to submit to the Creator. And that's really the picture. This is what all the prophets are saying to you. So, in a way, you are submitting to a certain extent because of God has placed in you physical limitations, and we are bound by those, so we're a submission to those. But what's required from you is the voluntary submission of yourself to God's way of living on the earth. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
But that's what truth does to you. If you know something is true, it compels you.
I think it's taken me about 10 years to actually realise in my heart that this is the right route. Because when I did convert, it wasn't for the right reasons. So it's taken me a long time to actually get back to this place. And I feel like, in a way, I know it might sound a bit weird, but I feel like Allah is wanting me to submit. He brought me a Muslim man into my life. So I think this is the direction I should be going, definitely. But as you said, it's about understanding it for myself and reading and finding.
It's understanding, reading, and then practicing it.
Yeah,
Quite
practice,
important because many times we just read and we just stop there.
Yeah.
We need to put that into practice because the Quran, the whole idea of the Quran is not just to read it, but to put that into practice in your life.
Yeah.
And this is what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is basically the walking Quran. He used to practice what he preached. And this is, for every individual, you need to do this in order for you to gain that reward and that acknowledgement, yes, in your deen as a Muslim. Because if you're going to do everything half-heartedly, then it is not something that you're going to succeed in. The same thing goes with your career. If you're going to do your work, I just go from 9 to 5 and that's it, I don't care about how much effort I put into work. The people who are in charge, they will notice this and they will fire you one day because they know that you're not here for the reason that you have been employed. And the same reason or the same analogy can be put into practice with regards to you becoming a Muslim, because once you have submitted, then there is obviously there is a certain responsibility for you as an individual. Yes, and that's why I'm saying take it a step at a time, because when you have your birthday or whatever, when you bake a cake, you don't eat it all in one go. You eat it piece by piece.
Yes.
Well, if you do, you know what the consequences is.
Yeah, exactly true.
So you don't want to fall sick, and I mean in this case spiritually sick. So you want to take it step at a time, but do it. That's very important for you to do it. Do not go about. Look, if you're going to live your life based on what other people think and what other people do and what other people say about you, whether in front of you or behind you, your life is never going to progress anywhere. Sometimes you just have to ignore all those negative things and take the step forward towards the positive things, which you can spend time. So, for example, if somebody is always telling you bad things, not all the negative things, why befriend that person? Yes, move away from that person and go to a person who tells you good things, who keeps good relationships for you. If someone is always talking behind other people and always basically backbiting other people, and they come. How do you know that person is not backbiting about you to other people as well? So I would distance myself from such kind of people, because you know backbiting is one of the major sins in Islam, and that goes to both men and women. It says in the Quran, it's akin to basically eating the flesh of your brother, literally cannibalizing your brothers. Yes, to that extent, because you know what even gossiping behind someone's back. It doesn't mean that some people will say, oh, but it is true. What I told about that person is true. But that is not what gossiping is. Gossiping is basically, it is true, but if you told in front of that person will be hurt and he will feel bad. That is what gossiping is all about. Yes, backbiting. And this is what it is. If you're telling something which is not true, then that is basically it's a slander, yeah. And the slander is obviously wrong, but then backbiting is also wrong. So, and the same goes with anything that harms other people. You see, this is harming by words. You're not even by action, and that is something prohibited in Islam as well. So, yeah, if you follow Islam correctly, based on what Allah and His Messenger said, it's not something that is difficult. It's very easy, trust me. Yes, the sisters who are having difficulty wearing a hijab, initially once they get over that, then it becomes easy for them. They find respect in the community. The other people look at them and judge them in a different way than they were before. Yes, it's not easy, trust me. And the same goes with men. Many men do not grow beards. Yes, because they feel that they will be judged somehow. Yeah, today I know it's become a trend, becoming hipsters and all that. Yeah, that's a different thing. So maybe one day when it becomes a trend for the hijab, it becomes fashion, then all the sisters who are not hijabis, they'll become muhajjibas one day. You know, so don't wait for the fashion. Do it for the sake of Allah, because that is where the great reward is. Yes, because what you're doing here, if you do it for the fashion, you're pleasing others other than Allah. What is the true reward for? Pleasing Allah. I'll give you an example about charity. There are many institutes, many individuals out there, many organizations who give a lot of charity, but then they do it in the full view of the media. Yes, every single credit should go to them. So even every bag that they have donated, they have written their name and their organization's name on it to make sure that whoever sees that knows where it came from. And there are other people, when they give, their left hand doesn't know when they give with the right hand. Yes, their parents don't know, their children don't know, their partners don't know. Yes, they just give it, and they said, please don't tell who gave it. Say a Muslim brother gave it or Muslim sister gave it, anonymously. And this is one of the greatest rewards you can have, because what it does, it quashes your vanity. Because many people, they do it to show off. Yes, and this is where your ego and your vanity comes in. Yes, Allah will reward the person who gives maybe £1, who gives it with sincerity. He'll give them a reward bigger than mountains, you know, on the day of judgment in terms of reward. And somebody who might have donated millions of pounds, yes, but they did it just for vanity, just to show off, not for the pleasure of Allah, or basically to really feed those destitute people, then that person will get the reward maybe worse than just giving even £1, or even worse. Yes, maybe nothing. So at the end of the day, everything is based on your intention, your niyyah. That's why the first hadith in Bukhari, Al-Bukhari is based إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالَ بِالنِّيَّةِ, that you basically act upon your intentions. Every act of yours should be based upon your intentions, and the intention is a good intention, not to harm someone, or not to show off. So everything, like I said, in Islam, if you look at it, you analyze anything, even though it might seem very harsh for you, it might seem something quite difficult for you, you'll find benefit in it. Yes. For example, telling the truth. Yes. Sometimes it might harm you if you tell a truth. Yes. But then we realize that because you told that truth, it saved you from another harm which might have been greater. You see what I mean? So even things like that you might consider to be insignificant, but you will only realize the significance at a later date. And today we find, especially like you said, is it easy in the West to practice a religion? It is easy, and it is also difficult. I'm not saying it's completely easy. Of course. Yes, because I think there's a hadith, a narration where he said that there will come a time when obeying and abiding by your faith, it is as if you have handled hot charcoal in your hand. It'll become as difficult as that. So that's why we have to balance our life, you know, and try our best, to the best of our abilities, to worship and obey Allah and His Messenger. And this will, inshallah, on the day of judgment, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will judge you based on your ability. Because Allah says also in the Quran, He doesn't test you beyond your scope. Yes? And this is something which is true in any situation. If something that is beyond you, yes, don't try to do it. Because Allah will not judge you based on that. Yes? So inshallah, try your best, both of you. It's very nice speaking to you. What's your name, brother?
Ali.
Ali? Hashim.
So
This will be on YouTube. So if you guys want to watch it, inshallah, watch it. And maybe you can...
I said to him, no, my luck, I'll end up on all the videos today.
You guys are from London, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, so if you got any questions, like if you can't find in your local masjid or local mosque, you're more than welcome to come here. There are brothers more knowledgeable than me. MashaAllah, my brother Dr. Imran here. and other brothers, alhamdulillah. And we'll be more than glad to answer your questions. Yes?
there's one thing the Prophet said was really important, which was the Prophet said that if you want to see first what you're like, look at your friends. So having the right people around you, the Prophet said, really important.
It rubs
so,
on you.
Yeah. So find a good sister you can talk to, get information from. Otherwise, brothers are here. Come and ask us questions.
Good company, inshallah.
Take it, guys.
يا ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء وسخاء يا نجما شع فأبهجنا يا شعلة نور وضاء يا ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء